So instead of like, yeah, he doubles down and he does this. If I'm ESPN, like, and I get it. You created this monster. He is bigger than you now. And that's exactly your fault and your fault only. You let him run rampant all over that company and put his face on for everybody who's like, oh, he works so hard. I'm going to let you in on a little behind the scenes. He wants to do that. Nobody's asking him.
He's desperate to do it.
He shows up. I told everyone I work with, I will never share a set with that person, ever, because I don't respect him, and life's too short. The morning of my last day on Get Up, as Greenie was giving me a heartfelt goodbye, and I awkwardly sat there, as I was leaving the set, they started a promo that Stephen A. Smith will be on the show tomorrow. Like, it is him. So let's stop acting like the guy gets worked to death. It's him.
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm like, he made you look like fools for handing him a blank check in the first place because he doesn't even give a shit about the stuff that he's paid $1 gazillion to talk about. And now he's turning around and turning that into a money-making opportunity. Yeah. And the money-making opportunity, turns out it looks like it's a fraudulent crap business to begin with. Honestly, I'm not a religious person, but I pray for the downfall. I really do.
It's going to be amazing.
It's
going to be amazing.
I have never said more than hello or goodbye to her in the initial stages, and we was at one event for ESPN in 2013 or wherever it was, where we might have spoken for a minute or two. I don't know this woman at all. So when you hear her talking about me, please understand, I don't know her. I have no relationship with her. She says, I don't like her. How would you know? It has to be because of how you're acting, Michelle Beadle. It can't be because of me. Because I don't talk to you. I don't know you. I don't talk to you. I've never been around you. We've never had a conversation. We've never hung out with one another. Nothing. We have no relationship. I can sit up here right now, walk outside to the bathroom, pass somebody in a hallway, talk to them for 2 minutes, and that would be more extensive than any communication I have had with Michelle Beadle in all these years.
Boy. So we got to talk about some drama in the sports world that, at least according to Stephen A. Smith, is political in nature, okay? And this is why we got to talk about it, because Stephen A. is finally realizing why the pro-black mob and the liberal feminists hate him, right? Why can't they stand Stephen A. Smith, okay? I mean, there's reasons why I really don't like Stephen A. like that, but it's different than the black liberal mob, okay? In the feminists. In this story, we got to talk about the drama that is currently happening. As you guys saw at the beginning of this video, Michelle Beadle criticized Stephen A. on multiple occasions, including about some comments he made in reference to the 2014 Ray Rice domestic violence case, in which she thought that his remarks were irresponsible and disgusting. She's also expressed frustration with Stephen A. Getting jobs that she believes that she deserved. Basically, she's been hating on Stephen A., right? And Cari Champion, who is a black liberal woman, okay, jumped in this and basically backed up Michelle Beadle's criticism of Stephen A. Smith and called out Stephen A. for his past alleged comments about women, aka implying that Stephen A. is sexist, that he is a misogynist, and that he is going after black women in ways that he won't go after other people. Take a look.
Stephen A., I played that Michelle Beadle clip for one reason and one reason only. I'm old enough to remember being on that show and getting in trouble based on some comments you said about women and whether or not they should know their place when it comes to abuse or non-abuse. Ray Rice comes to mind. Not going to get into the details of all of that. But Beadle just came for you yet again, like she did when I worked at ESPN. I wonder, do you have that same smoke for her that you have for Jasmine Crockett, that you have for Michelle Obama, that you sometimes display for me and Jamel Hill? Do you have that same smoke? I'm sick of it. Keep the same energy. And I call you and I root for you and I say, hey, I got your back. I'm happy for you. But you keep that same energy, sir, for everybody.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You just said, Cari, you called me, you root for me. Why would you root for somebody that called you out in Jamel Hill, who's your good friend? Because it's never happened. Never. I've shown you nothing but love. What are you talking about? You were hired at First Take in large part because of me. You stayed as long as you stayed and had the support of the people that supported you because of me. Do I need to get bosses to confirm that I'm telling the truth? You know I can. When we see the diverse people that come on First Take, black people, women, the list goes on and on. Who did that? That wasn't happening when Skip was there. That was me. What are you talking about? When have I spoken against you? When have I thrown shade against you? When did that happen? That is a lie. Me, dogging Cari Champion? When? And if I did it, why did you call me and root for me? What are you sick of?
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that. Now, this is the video I actually really want to get to, right? It's Stephen A discussing why he thinks he's getting the backlash, right? The real reason why he's getting the backlash, which I think he's actually spot on when he admits that this is happening because of the fact that he is not 100% totally aligned in his commentary with the Democrat Party and the far left liberal agenda. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
I want to make sure that I say this. I'm not going to let y'all get away with that, with this stuff about man and black men with black women. First of all, to the brothers out there. Can we ask a question? Can we disagree with a sister from time to time?
No, you can't, right? You can't do it, especially in public. No, you can't. You can't disagree with a black woman. If you're a black man, you cannot disagree with a liberal black woman. Let's be more specific. You can't disagree with her. If you disagree with her, then you hate black women, you hate your mama, you hate your sister, right? And you hate yourself, okay? That is what these people believe. No, you can't. Remember, Stephen A just got a whole lot of backlash for the Jasmine Crockett thing.
First heard the comments, I was disappointed. I'm going to be perfectly honest. And I've never met Stephen A. We've never had a conversation a day in our lives. I was disappointed simply because it was a black man. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Like, in the work that I do, I anticipate that there's tons of racists or just tons of people that are on the other side from me that will be critical and not focus on the substance of what it is that I'm doing, not focus on the legislation, not focus on the money that I bring in, not focus on the programs that I run out of my districts, not focus on how I am very much in tune with keeping my districts informed of what's going on in the government, like the meat and potatoes. Like, I get that they will ignore all that stuff. But in a time in which Black women specifically are under attack, and we all know what Malcolm X said about the Black woman, I just felt a way that there was a Black man who decided not to do any research and decided to more so comment on my stylistic approach, which I'm good with people disagreeing or whatever, but to use your platform in order to not only come for me, but consistently kind of have a track record of coming for Black women. I was just very disappointed in him. Like, that was just really disappointing from like a cultural standpoint. As it relates to his apology, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell you that like I haven't paid attention whatsoever. I do feel like whatever took place was more so in response to the backlash. And so, you know, it's kind of like, all right, so if you hadn't gotten smoke, like, would you have done it?
The Democrats got their plantation overseer, Roland Martin, to crack the whip on Stephen A., right? They rounded up the slave catchers, and they went and they got Stephen A., who was running away from the plantation. They caught his ass quick, brought him back to the plantation, gave him some lashes for speaking out about Jasmine Crockett, right? And then Stephen A. apologized. So no, you can't, right? You cannot say anything negative about a liberal black woman. No, you can't, Stephen A.
We damn sure do it privately. What, we're forbidden to do it on camera? What's up, fellas? You gonna leave me standing here, sitting here?
Yeah, I am, because ultimately at the end of the day, the fact that you continue to grovel to these people, the fact that you always apologize to these people, that is why I can't respect it, right? I can't respect you. I can't support you. I want to. I want to stand behind somebody like Stephen A and say, hey, man, stand your ground, right? Against the mob. But when you fold every single time, when you grovel, when you apologize, when you start pulling the race card, boohoo, whine, and crown racism in order to score some brownie points with the woke mob, when you start going to these Trump deranged rants, like, for example, this dude tried to say that somehow, some way, Trump had something to do with the FBI charging those NBA players for the whole gambling scandal that was happening in the NBA. And then try to say, well, they could go after the WNBA too, right? So Stephen A, he does stuff like that because he's trying to score brownie points with the mob. You care too much about being invited to the cookout. You care too much about what these people think. And that's the reason why you don't have my respect, right? That's the reason why nobody's going to stand behind you when the mob comes after you, because it doesn't matter what you say. They're going to come after you. They don't like the fact that you have a prominent voice and that you don't completely shield for the Democrat Party, even though he is a Democrat, right? They don't like the fact that he's not completely aligned with the far left agenda, and they're going to attack him no matter what. But I can't stand behind you. I can't support you when you're folding to the mob, right? That's the problem.
And don't say anything. We can't disagree without being accused of disrespect or misogyny for asking a question. Again, I apologize for the unintended effect, and I meant it. I don't want that to get lost.
See, that's the problem. You keep apologizing, right? That's the problem. Stop apologizing. Stop groveling.
But what I'm saying is, why are we having this problem? You're trying to make this about the black man and the black women. Stop. My record speaks for itself. Google me. We ain't going for that. You think I don't know what the hell this is? I ask a simple question. Sit down for this one. If it were Candace Owens instead of Jasmine Crockett or somebody else, what would you have said? If it was the black woman who ran for governor of Virginia and just lost to the woman Spanberger in Virginia, Earl Sears, I believe is her name, Winsome Earl Sears. If I was talking about her, would y'all have said anything? If I was talking about somebody like Sage Steele, our former colleague at ESPN, who's now in the podcast space and doing her thing, would you have said anything? Trying to make this about gender and race. No, this is about politics, ideology. You expect me, as a black man, to stand firm supporting the Democratic Party.
Yeah, of course. Duh. That's what it's been about the whole time. That's what it's been about the whole time. And this is why it's so pathetic when you grovel to these people, right? Because it's not like this dude doesn't support Democrats, as he's going to mention here.
That's what this is about. That's what this is about. If I said the same thing about those conservative black women, y'all would not have said a word. So if it's about politics, say so. See, that's where the left gets slick. And this is somebody, you can't say anything to me because I vote for you anyway, because I'm looking at a policy by policy, and I understand the attention that needs to be brought to the desolate and the disenfranchised, to the poorest amongst us, and for us to do what we can to uplift them. That's how I live my life, trying to do it. And even though the Republicans might have some policies and their thought process might be free market capitalism, free land of opportunity, do that, whereas the Democrats might have given blacks more access to capital through some policies and what have you, the bottom line is, on far too many occasions, it's come across like they care more about that than the other side might. Whatever you may think, the fact of the matter is, this is about politics and ideology, and about the left trying to muscle and flex us into doing and thinking and spreading and disseminating what you want me to do. Bump that. I apologize. Fuck that. I'm not doing it. I do what I want to do. I think for me. I voted for Kamala Harris.
And see, that's the problem.
I voted for Barack Obama twice.
And that's the problem, right? That's the problem. You talking all this junk. You acting all big and bad. But yeah, at the end of the day, when it comes time to vote, you voted for Democrats. And because, at least publicly speaking, you criticize Democrats, you're not completely on board with the far left, even though you voted for a far leftist in Kamala Harris. Because you are black, because you have a prominent voice, the black mob sees that as, well, Stephen A., he is influencing black men to potentially not vote Democrat, even though Stephen A. votes Democrat, right? And he makes that known every chance that he gets that he's a Democrat, right? He's still on their team. So, to me, I don't understand why you keep apologizing. I don't understand why you keep groveling. I don't understand why you keep addressing these people. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, none of these people you're addressing has a bigger platform than you do. They don't have a big platform. Nobody cares about what they have to say. They're irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. But because you care so much about their love and acceptance, this is why you continue to apologize. And the more that you apologize, the more that you grovel, that shows weakness. They smell blood in the water. And this is why they keep doing it, right? This is why they keep doing it. You folded on Jasmine Crockett. You fold on everything. They got you with Kaepernick. Stop folding to the mob. Stop folding to these people. Stop apologizing. Just say what you got to say and move on. If they mad, let them be mad. If you get disinvited for the cookout, who cares? Why you want to go in the first place? But at the core of what he's saying, which is that, hey, this is about politics, that if Stephen A. criticized black women who were conservative, right, then he wouldn't be getting criticism. And he's right. Had he criticized Winsome Earl Sears, had he criticized Candace Owens, which, I mean, you know, Candace, that's a whole different conversation, right? But had he criticized women that black liberal women, you know, hate, right, don't like, nobody would be saying that he hates black women. Nobody would be calling him a sellout. Nobody would be, you know, saying all the things they usually say about black folks, right, who don't align with the Democrat Party. They wouldn't be saying that. They'd be cheering it on. So, again, it's not about attacking a black woman. It's about disagreeing with the Democrat Party, right? It's about disagreeing with a liberal black woman, again, who votes Democrat, who is a foot soldier for the Democrat Party. That's what it's about. And I'm glad you finally understand that, Stephen A. The problem is, why do you keep supporting these people? That's the real problem.
I voted for Bill Clinton. Don't come to me acting like, oh, I'm supposed to parrot your speech. You sitting there on the White House lawn dancing with Joe Biden, who was 80. Forgetting you're going to bring up Trump with the rent issue in the 70s, but we're going to conveniently ignore Joe Biden and the crime bill with the Senate in the 90s. And the disproportionate effect that had on black people and incarceration. Bill Clinton apologized for it. It happened in the 90s. He apologized for it in 2016, conveniently when Hillary Rodham Clinton was running. By the way, when the privatization of the prison system took fold, wasn't it some Democrats making money off of that because they invested in it? We didn't bring that up. I can't ask that. I can't bring that up. I can't be suspicious about stuff like that. Come on, y'all. Come on.
Yeah. So you seen that, you heard that. Okay. No, Stephen A., you can't. You cannot question the Democrat Party. You can't criticize the Democrat Party because you're a black man with a platform. That may lead some black men to not support the Democrat Party, right? And that's the problem, right? That's the issue. And because you also criticize the black liberal woman, that makes it a bigger problem, a bigger issue, because you're black, right? And you really can't speak out against the foot soldier of the Democrat Party. You can't speak out against her. She supports the Democrats 95%. You're speaking out against the strongest supporters of the Democrat Party, of the Democrat machine. You can't do that. You're selling out when you do that. You hate black women. You hate yourself. You hate your mom. You hate your kids, right? You hate your sister. Hate your daughter. Like, yeah, that's typically how it goes, right? That's how it works. So again, my question is, why do you continue to support these people? Why do you support them? That's the real question. That's the real question. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.